Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the news from SABA satellite channel from Arab. Here are tonight's top stories.
President Al-Alimi discusses peace process and detainee release efforts with UN Special Envoy.
Prime Minister Zindani witnesses signing of $150 million Saudi electricity support agreement.
Government team and World Bank discuss infrastructure and recovery priorities.
Welcome back. We begin with the presidential news. As President of the Presidential Leadership Council, Dr. Rashad Al-Alimi met with United Nations Special Envoy Hans Gramberg on prisoner release efforts and prospects for advancing the peace process in Yemen. Gramberg briefed President Al-Alimi on the results of his recent consultations, particularly efforts to implement the recently announced agreement of the release of 1,750 detainees, as well as ongoing United Nations and international initiatives aimed at reviving the peace process. Al-Alimi welcomed the agreement, describing it as an important humanitarian step that could bring relief to thousands of Yemeni families. He expressed appreciation for the efforts of the United Nations, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and the International Committee of the Red Cross in helping secure the deal and called for its full implementation without delays. The President also reaffirmed the Presidential Leadership Council's commitment to a sustainable peace based on agreed preferences and relevant United Nations resolutions, while stressing the importance of continued international support for government reforms and efforts to restore stability.
Discussions continue on efforts to advance the political process and support peace initiatives in Yemen. Member of Presidential Leadership Council Abdulrahman Al-Muharrami met Hans Gramberg to discuss recent political, military and humanitarian developments, as well as prospects for the peace process. The meeting reviewed ongoing United Nations and international efforts to revive political navigations and explored ways to advance the peace process. Discussions also covered the issue of detainees and efforts to secure their release under the principle of all for all. Al-Muharrami said the Houthi militia has not demonstrated seriousness toward a comprehensive peace process, while reaffirming the unity of the Presidential Leadership Council and the government. For his part, Gramberg briefed the Muharrami on his recent consultations and reiterated the United Nations commitment to facilitating the explosive political process.
Discussions with international partners continue. As member of the Presidential Leadership Council, Mahmoud al-Subaihi held a virtual meeting with outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Yemen, Stephen Fagan, to discuss political, economic, and humanitarian developments in the country, as well as prospects for strengthened bilateral cooperation. Al-Subaihi praised the ambassador's efforts during his tenure, highlighting his role in supporting Yemeni-U.S. relations, advancing peace and stability efforts, and mobilizing international support for the government and humanitarian response. He also reviewed the economic and humanitarian challenges facing Yemen and stressed the importance of continued international support for state institutions, development efforts, and essential services. For his part, Ambassador Fagan reaffirmed continued U.S. support for peace, stability, development, and humanitarian efforts in Yemen.
Diplomatic engagement with international partners remains an important part of Yemen's foreign relations agenda. Prime Minister Shaya al-Zindani received China's third d'affaires to Yemen, Xiaoqing, who delivered a written message from Chinese President Xi Jinping to President Rashad Al-Alimi on the 17th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The meeting reviewed the course of Yemeni-Chinese relations and opportunities to expand cooperation across a range of sectors. Al-Zindani praised the long-standing relation between Yemen and China and expressed appreciation for China's support for Yemen's security, stability, and development efforts. For his part, the Chinese diplomat reaffirmed Beijing's support for peace and development in Yemen and expressed readiness to further strengthen bilateral cooperation in areas of mutual interest.
In a separate meeting, Dr. Shaya al-Zindani also discussed bilateral cooperation with India's ambassador to Yemen, Suhail Ajaz Khan, to discuss ways to strengthen bilateral relations and expand cooperation between the two countries. The meeting reviewed developments at the national, regional, and international levels and explored issues of mutual interest. Both sides emphasized the importance of convening the Yemeni-Indian Joint Committee at the earliest opportunity to activate existing agreements and promote economic, trade, and investment cooperation. Zindani reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthen partnership with India and building on the historic ties between the two countries. The Indian ambassador reiterated his country's commitment to enhancing bilateral cooperation and expressed hope that the Joint Committee would help open new avenues for partnership.
Efforts to address citizens' daily needs received a major push as Yemen and Saudi Arabia signed a new agreement to support electricity generation across the country. Prime Minister Shaya Al-Zindani witnessed the signing of a $150 million agreement funded by Saudi Arabia through the Saudi Program for Development and Reconstruction of Yemen to support electricity generation across the country. Under the agreement signed by Electricity Minister Adnan Al-Kaf and Saudi Program Supervisor General Mohammed Al-Jaber, diesel and fuel oil supplies will be provided to more than 70 power stations in various governorates, helping improve electricity stability and maintaining service during the summer period. A separate agreement was also signed between Petromassili Company, the Ministry of Electricity, and the Saudi Program to support the sustainability of the state-owned company and enhance its operational capacity. Zindani described electricity as one of the government's highest priorities and said the agreement reflects continued Saudi support for efforts to improve essential services. He added that the government will work to ensure the state directly contributes to improving the electricity supply for citizens.
Meanwhile, government officials are continuing discussions with international institutions to support development and economic recovery. A government team held talks with a World Bank delegation in Aden to discuss ways to strengthen cooperation in transport, roads, industry, trade, and development sectors. The meeting brought together ministers of planning and international cooperation Afrah Al-Zuba, industry and trade Mohammed Al-Ashwal, public works and highways Hassan Al-Ughrubi, and transport Muhsin Al-Umari. Discussions focused on the performance of key service sectors, ongoing development projects, and priorities for improving infrastructure and economic recovery. The ministers emphasized the importance of continued technical and financial support for priority projects that contribute to improving services, attracting investment, and supporting private sector growth. The meeting also highlighted the government's efforts to prepare a national development plan and strengthen partnership with international financing institutions.
Minister of Planning and International Cooperation Afrah Al-Zuba held virtual talks with the French Ambassador Catherine Cormcaman to discuss development cooperation and economic priorities. The discussions covered financing for development projects, institutional capacity building, health initiatives, school nutrition programs, and support for private sector development. Al-Zuba reaffirmed the government's commitment to expand in cooperation with France in line with national development priorities. The French ambassador reviewed upcoming French-supported projects in the health sector and school nutrition programs, highlighting their contribution to improving school enrollment rates in several governorates.
In the education sector, the Saudi Program for Development and Reconstruction of Yemen has signed an agreement to implement a digital empowerment project targeting 500 teachers in Aden, Hadramaut, Al-Mahra, and Socotra. The initiative will be carried out in partnership with the Innovator Center for Studies and Training at King Abdulaziz University. The project aims to enhance teachers' digital and professional skills through a training program that combines in-person and online learning. Training will focus on artificial intelligence applications in education and digital infrastructure design, helping teachers develop modern educational content and make greater use of technology in the classrooms.
Back to Aden, where health officials continue discussions with international partners on sustaining essential healthcare services. Deputy Health Minister Ali Al-Walidi met UNICEF Deputy Representative Majid Atawal in Aden to discuss health and nutrition priorities and challenges faced in the sector. The meeting reviewed efforts to maintain essential healthcare services and examined the impact of reducing funding from some international donors. Discussions also focused on ways to mobilize additional support and address potential funding gaps that could affect health and nutrition programs. Al-Walidi described UNICEF as a key partner in implementing healthcare initiatives and stressed the importance of continued cooperation to support primary healthcare, immunization, and maternal and child health services.
In Riyadh, Yemen is taking part in a conference on media security and its role in promoting community safety, organized by Naif Arab University for Security Sciences in cooperation with Saudi Arabia's Minister of Interior. The Yemeni delegation includes the security attaché in Riyadh, Abdul Gawi Jamil, and Deputy Director General of Morale, Guidance and Public Relations at the Ministry of Interior, Faisal Al-Udaini. The three-day conference brings together experts from across the Arab world and representatives of international organizations to discuss issues related to media security and its role in supporting community stability. Participants are also examining a range of scientific and professional topics related to contemporary security challenges.
A cultural and artistic exhibition titled Yemen Through the Eyes of Its Youth has concluded in the German capital, Berlin, after 5 days of events highlighting Yemen's cultural heritage and creative talents. Organized by the Independent Youth Group in partnership with the 3 Tracks for Development, the exhibition brought together members of the Yemeni and Arab communities as well as cultural and diplomatic representatives. The event featured documentary films and visual artworks showcasing Yemen's history, heritage, and contemporary creativity. 5 Yemeni artists participated in the exhibition, presenting works that combine traditional themes with modern artistic and technological approaches. Yemen's ambassador to Germany, Lu'ay Al-Iryani, praised the initiative, describing it as an important cultural message presented by Yemeni youth and a positive reflection of the country's identity and creativity.
I am very happy and proud to see a group of young Yemenis here in Germany participating in a cultural event that showcases Yemeni culture and art in their most beautiful and finest forms. I believe this is one of the cultural events taking place in Berlin after a period of interruption, and therefore it sends a very important message that Yemen has returned to the cultural scene, so to speak, through its youth. The credit always goes to young people. Berlin is an important cultural capital, and the presence of Yemeni culture here is highly significant. My impression today is that the exhibition genuinely reflects Yemen, its people, its natural landscapes, its youth, and its art. This is the most beautiful message we can present to our German friends, as it showcases Yemen's beautiful face, which is the true face of Yemen. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am extremely proud of these artists and very pleased to see young people from my country demonstrating such a high level of perseverance. I know very well that an enormous amount of effort went into organizing this exhibition in Berlin. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the sponsors, including the German Embassy in Yemen and 3 Tracks, whose support had a very significant impact. However, your perseverance and determination to hold this exhibition were the primary reasons for its success. Perseverance is the first thing for which I congratulate you, and the beautiful art you have presented is also a source of great pride.
Visitors expressed admiration for the immersive VR experience on Yemen's history and heritage.
I also love the virtual reality. That was really nice to feel like immersed in this place and to walk around and look around and feel like as if you were there actually.
360 degrees. Pictures are very beautiful because you dive into it and you can lose yourself.
The virtual reality section, that part also very interesting because I always wanted to visit the island, but I see that like, it's not very easy to visit. So somehow I could experience how it's there. So that was a very, very interesting.
Other visitors said the exhibition offered a valuable opportunity to learn more about Yemen and its rich cultural heritage.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting exhibition for me. A friend of mine who is a Yemeni, he took me here and told me like this exhibition about Yemen from young Yemeni artists. And since I lived there for a year and I've been there a couple of times, my heart is very present in this country, and I'm always happy to meet Yemeni people and see the work they are doing. And it was awesome to see the films, all the places I already knew from the past. Very nice to see the photographies of those young people. And since there's a very difficult situation at the moment in Yemen, I'm really happy to see like young people doing like good work, like expressing themselves, and makes me happy for the Yemen future because it's on the right way.
The effect that this exhibition had on me was that it made me realize how little I actually knew about Yemen. I thought I knew a little bit, but it turns out I knew almost nothing. It really opened my eyes to the richness and diversity of Yemeni culture, Yemeni geography, Yemeni cities. It really was a kind of multi-layered experience. There's the photos, the portraits of your people, there's the VR, and then there were the 3 short films. So I really felt like I got a bit of a masterclass on Yemen.
Organizers said the exhibition aimed to highlight Yemen's cultural identity and promote messages of hope and creativity through the perspective of Yemeni youth. That was the news bulletin from SABA satellite channel from Marib. Thank you for watching and have a good time.